Hi, and welcome on to the All Guns Blazing podcast with my man DT. How you doing, bro?
I'm alright.
Good?
Yeah.
What's the matter with you now?
Nothing's the matter
Still
with
going to
me.
probably go on about the football thing, innit?
No, I don't need to go on about it. Everyone's seen
the
it.
way you've gone on about that thing, man.
I've not said anything. I've not said a word. I'm in a happy mood. I've just said
that's
hi.
good. That's
it's
good.
all good.
Happy
High
mood.
five.
Happy mood because of the game the other day?
Yeah. I do think that some people may be going on about it a little bit too much now because it was only a draw. It's nice to have got that draw. It's nice to have, seen that kind of performance. But it's like, right, let's get back down to business now.
Do you think, right, it was only a draw and, it didn't really have much of effect on us, in a quest for anything like top four? And I remember Mikel Arteta saying before the game that we have to win the game to get in any chance of the top four. He acknowledged that himself. We didn't win the game and it was only a draw. However, it seemed like a bit of a turning point, that game, because of the fight that was shown. Because in years gone by, going a goal down against Chelsea
And 10 men.
You would have said to yourself,
6-0 again.
Well, you remember the 6-0.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And everybody was there. They're sitting there. They're fearing the worst. They're fearing capitulation. And we didn't capitulate.
No, we actually fought.
Dug in.
Yeah.
We dug in and we fought. We spent... I watched the game back the other day, right? I watched all of it back. And the defending in that second half was superb. But let's first of all start talking about the game itself. Let's get the initial defending that led to that first goal. I mean, it was terrible.
What do you want me to say about it? Everyone's seen it. It was dreadful. It was ridiculous. And it should never have been a red card, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because there's this double jeopardy rule and the whole change of the system and the way the rules are with professional fouls. But it seems like it only counts if it's not Arsenal. And for people that are not actually aware of the new rules, if you bring a player down when he's through on goal outside of the box, it's still a red card. It's not changed. If you bring a player down inside of the box, but you've made a genuine attempt to win the ball, then a penalty is sufficient and a yellow card. Now, I've watched the incident. Abrahams kicks the floor, first and foremost. Luiz doesn't go through the back of him. He tries to go round the side of him. Mustafi was on the line. That was not a red card. A penalty was sufficient. Yes, it was a penalty. We have to say that because
Was a definite penalty.
Yeah, Abraham's kicking the floor. You can say that was the
No,
lead.
forget kicking the floor. It was a definite penalty.
I'm just putting into perspective as to why he would have possibly kicked the floor because of the presence of Luiz and whatnot. It's a penalty. We're not getting away from that. But it was not a red card. It was not a red card. And the fact that the referee went to VAR, they watched it, and they were still able to come up with that decision just shows how much of a fast VAR is. It was not a red card. The penalty was sufficient. We get on with the game.
David Luiz, was he... I mean, everyone was, having a go at Mustafi for, and it was a terrible back pass. And he'd done had a couple of moments under hit passes and that before that, but it was a terrible back pass. However, David Luiz is a very experienced player.
What's he meant to do?
Why run? What? Just let the guy.
You can't let the guy score. You can't let the guy score. If he would have let him score, then you'd be sitting. Why aren't you trying to stop it?
You're trying to stop it, but you can't.
He done everything. No. Sorry, but he done everything he possibly could.
No, he's too rash.
No, it wasn't rash.
It was.
It wasn't rash.
It was. I thought it was rash.
He was making a desperate attempt to stop a goal out of a situation that he was forced into by somebody else's mistake.
At the time when you saw it.
Yeah, even when you take it back, have a look, yeah? The way Abrahams took past Leno left the leg out and then pulled it back because he was like...
Exactly.
But because
does that not answer your question?
No, because
he's
that
not rash.
is... No,
because he know he would have got sent off.
Because that is a definite sending off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's outside the box. It's the original
but hold
rule.
on.
No, that's the original rule, Robbie.
I know.
And Leno would have been sent off.
You've answered your own question.
No, I haven't. With David Luiz, he should not have been sent off. Under the new rules, David Luiz should not have been sent off. That's why he looked surprised when he got the red card. That's why he stayed on the pitch and said, go to VAR. Because even he didn't believe it was a red card. You didn't even see Chelsea players in the referee's face brandishing fake cards and whatnot, saying, send him off, send him. No one was in the referee's face.
But no. Let me just say something, yeah? Right? You've answered your own question. The goalkeeper, Leno, he's coming steaming out. He realises I'm not going to quite make this. So he pulls out. Knowing that probably that's now going to be a goal. But that's intelligent play because wait a minute, look, can I finish talking?
Go on then. Go on.
What he's doing, he's pulling out of that because he realises that if I do anything rash, I'm giving the referee a decision to make, right? And I could get sent off. It's early in the game, let him go through, right? That's what Luiz should have done. Hold on, wait a minute. Listen, David Luiz was too rash.
No, he wasn't.
Whether he should have been sent off or not, he's given the referee a decision to make. At the time, when I watched it in the ground, right, I thought it was a sending off. It didn't surprise me when he got sent off. Watching it back and everything, I'm thinking, boy, it was harsh. But you know the rules now. You know that once the referee on the pitch gives a decision and it goes to VAR, they will only overturn it if it's clear and obvious. Every player knows that.
It's clear.
Do not give the referee. Do not give the referee that decision to make.
You are basically saying let him through and score. No,
I'm saying
no. It was not.
You try and make it, but if you're not gonna, if you know you're not gonna make it, he was rash.
He was trying to make a genuine attempt to win the ball,
and he was rash.
He was not rash.
He was not trying to take the player out.
He genuinely went to try and win the ball and stop Abrahams from scoring.
He genuinely did, but he was too rash.
And you say about clear and obvious. It's clear and obvious when you watch the replays that he's made a genuine attempt. There was no ifs, buts, or maybes. The reaction of the Chelsea players said it all. It was
very clumsy.
He was trying to stop a goal.
It's very clumsy.
No, I would have.
He's got like a hand on him. He's coming through the back of him.
No, back of him. No chance, man. I would have my defender do that all day long
and get sent off.
Just say
the cost of the game.
Because 9 times out of 10 it won't be a sending off because they will actually do things by the letter of the law and stick to the rules properly.
1-0 down with 11 men, you've got a chance of winning the game still. Yeah? You're still in it.
You still don't let someone
20
go
minutes
through
gone,
and
you've got 11 men.
No, we will never agree on this. You do not let someone go through
at that stage of the game, and you know that there's a chance that you could get sent off. You're behind the man, right? You know what you even in football, right? As a defender, you know what some of these strikers are like. They're very clever. They'll do things. You're behind them, and you're running, and they're running through on goal. They'll do things like they'll literally just stop dead, so that you run through the back of them and knock them over. This is how clever. You cannot be rash. He was rash.
It wasn't.
Listen, I think it was harsh, but he was rash.
No, it wasn't.
He gave the referee a decision to make, and the referee sent him off.
Nope.
And that potentially cost us 3 points in the game.
Oh my God! You're actually trying to say that Luiz is responsible.
No, I'm not saying that Luiz is responsible.
He was trying to sort out the mess that he was put in.
Well, I know that.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
We know that.
There's two different situations, yeah? The rules state you bring the player down in a goal-scoring opportunity outside the box. It's a red, which is why Leno pulled out. Because he was outside the box. He knew it was going to be a red card. You make a genuine attempt to win the ball inside the box. A penalty is sufficient. What David Luiz done was by the letter of the law and the rules, not rash. If you want people to vote, then... You know what? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Robbie likes polls.
It looked rash.
You like polls, don't you? Should we do a poll for the...
You know the thing is, right?
Sorry,
listen to me. I'm saying, right?
On this.
Common sense. Common sense. I bet you any money if I was a fly on the wall, right? The next day when Mikel Arteta's talking to talking to David Luiz, while he will have sympathy with the player for getting sent off, while he'll know that he didn't do it deliberately, while he'll know that, you know, he was trying to get the ball, he'll say to him, he go, yo, David, next time,
let him score.
Right? You're too rash there. You've got to you'd be better off letting him score. Because at least we've got 11 men on the pitch. There's only 20 minutes gone in the game. We can recover it back. But when you're down to 10 men, that's it.
No, sorry.
Your backs are against the wall.
I'm not
the
gonna agree with you
tactics
on this.
change for the manager. You know what I mean? He was rash.
No, he wasn't rash. He was trying to win the ball. He never went through the back of him. If he went through the back of him, completely clattered him, had no chance of getting the ball, fine, I could understand your argument. But he went sideways on. He tried to legitimately win the ball.
In football,
we won't agree on this.
In football, you don't. You know, Leno could have went for. Leno could have went
I've already
for the ball.
explained
Hold
to
on,
you
wait a
the
minute.
difference. I've already explained
Leno
the
could have went
difference.
for the ball.
I've already explained the difference between outside the box and in.
He could have not got it right, and we would have said, "Oh, it's a bit harsh."
You're not listening.
You know, why did he let him through and score?
You're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening. I've already told you.
No, you're not listening.
No, you're not listening. The difference between outside
the box
and in.
reality.
The
reality of football.
is that reality. Behave yourself.
The
man.
reality is he
Get
got sent off.
Yeah, the reality is he tried winning the ball.
He got sent off.
And he
That's
tried
the reality.
winning the ball, and he should never have been a red card.
Yeah.
No.
In this wonderful world that you're living in, the
world I'm living in.
World.
That'd be a perfect
Right.
world. It's
He
the
got sent
behave
off.
yourself, man. Yes, but he shouldn't have been sent off. And he made a legitimate attempt to win the ball. He wasn't rash. He never went through the back of him. He didn't bring him down petulantly or anything. He made a genuine attempt to win the ball. The law states genuine attempt to win the ball is not a sending off. David Luiz believed that he was doing the right thing to try and stop a goal being scored against us. Sorry, if the player's trying to stop a goal against us, I'll back it 110%.
Did
then the player's standing there and going, yeah, you know what, let it in.
Did Aubameyang make a genuine attempt to win the ball the other day in that game?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
but he was late.
So what happened to him?
But he was late.
Right.
But
it's not about...
How on earth are you comparing...
No, because you keep using this word.
No.
Genuine attempt to win the ball.
Because
it's a foul.
There's different offences and different repercussions for each offence.
Listen, man.
There's differences, yeah?
You've got to use this.
No.
Use this in football. Like Aubameyang.
With how late Aubameyang was and given the impact it had on the player, it's a sending off offence.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Then stop using this word genuine attempt to win the ball because
there are differences. There are different. No, I've held on for long enough. You've been sitting there for 10 minutes going, hold on, over talking everything. Now I'm going to say
over talking who? You're over talking
me. And now I'm going to say what I have to say. At the end of the day, you can make genuine attempts to win the ball, but there are different repercussions for each incident. Each incident is different. The Luiz one is different to the Aubameyang one. He made a genuine attempt to win the ball, and under letter of the law, remember that, which the FA only just brought in, is that should have been a yellow card.
And what happened to him?
Got sent off. But what? So that's his fault because the referee can't do his job properly.
He gave the referee a decision to make because he was rash.
Oh my God!
End of story.
Wasn't. VAR had the opportunity.
Stop using these words. Genuine attempt to win the ball. We know he made a genuine attempt to win the ball. Just like Aubameyang made a genuine attempt to win the ball.
Wasn't rash.
But the result, right? And that's what I'm trying to say to you. He was rash in his attempt to win the ball. If you see him, he's kind of got a little bit old of him. He's on the back of him.
Where's all this?
The referee,
there was none of that.
Right, the
arms
referee,
wrapped round him and
not arms completely wrapped around him, but he's coming from anytime you're coming from behind the player,
was sideways.
Right, anytime you're coming from behind the player, the first thing, right, when my son's playing football, the first thing they say to him is, right, when you got that ball, right, and if you get ahead of the player, get in front of you, right? Because once you're in front of him, he can't lay a glove on you, right? Because if he tries to come in from the side of that, he's going to foul you, right? Oh, dear God. He's an experienced player.
I can't believe you're actually trying to
just let the man score, man, and then we got 11 men.
Sorry.
And you know what as well, right? Mustafi had got back on the line, he might have cleared it. Tammy Abrahams might have shanked it. Anything could have happened. He was too rash. No. You need to understand that. Watch it again.
You need to understand it.
Watch it again.
You need to understand it.
Take the tinted glasses off and watch it again.
You need to take your glasses off.
The reality
go and buy a pair.
reality of it is, right, is that really and truly it was a harsh decision, but he gave the referee a decision to make. When I was in the stadium at the time, I thought at the time, in real time, it looked to me like a red card.
Because you don't understand the rules.
Every single, you keep me about the rules, right? Every single player has seen this season that VAR literally every time backs the referee, does not want to overturn anything the referee says. We all know that. We've seen it week in, week out. We're in January now.
Nothing wrong
Since
with it.
August, that's what's been going on.
Nothing
so
wrong
there's
with
no
it.
point in crying afterwards and saying, oh boy, the letter of the law, VAR should have... How many
Nothing wrong with
VAR
it.
decisions
Nothing
has gone
wrong with
against
it.
us?
Nothing wrong with it.
Be sensible.
Nothing wrong
Be
with
sensible.
it. Nothing wrong with it at all.
Well, it was down to 10
made a
men,
genuine attempt.
and we were up against it.
Oh yeah,
And-
so let's all blame David Luiz. Yeah.
No, I'm not blaming.
In
I'm
Robbie's
not.
world. All
Listen,
right,
it was a both in my opinion, and this is quite harsh. Both defenders were at fault. Right? I feel that obviously Mustafi was at fault for a very poor back pass. Right? Which, to be fair to him, he tried to recover it because he got back on the line. And David Luiz was also at fault for being too rash. And we've seen that a lot. David Luiz, I think it's 3 red cards he's had this season. Shouldn't he not be thinking in his head? He's had 3 red cards. 3. He's been booked. I think they said something like about 80 odd times. It's too. He's got to learn to be. Well, it's probably too late to teach him it now. But he's too rash.
Nothing wrong with
in
that.
games we've seen it, and as well because of his reputation, right? That precedes him as well. Again, the referee will be on his case. Use this.
No,
You know what I mean?
you use
Intelligence.
yours. No, you
game
use
management.
Yours. You use yours.
Game management.
You use yours.
You know what I mean? Sensible.
You're telling me that I should have a different of opinion because
No, I'm not saying
in your world.
This is
Sorry, but
it's
you're
your
not changing
opinion.
my opinion.
No,
on
I'm
it.
saying that you're
No.
going
No,
off
but
the
you're
perfect.
trying to, no, but you're trying
going
to say
in the
to
perfect
me,
world.
No,
we know what happens.
Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to actually belittle what I'm saying, and you're like, oh, you should learn. You should look more. What do you mean learn?
It's the reality.
I know the rules, and the rules are he should have been
reality of
sent
it,
off,
he got
and there was
sent off.
nothing wrong with it.
He got
There
sent
was
off
nothing wrong with it.
because when the referee running in from behind, looking at him coming from behind, it looks like it's a rash
almighty.
thing by
There's nothing wrong with Sorry,
David
I'm not
Luiz.
buying any player letting another one score. Sorry, no, not in this world.
Yeah,
Not happening.
we could have had 11 men on the pitch who could still have won the game.
Yeah,
you
okay.
don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know.
Ooh, who knows?
10 men, you're up against it. You know, really, you're really up against it. But let's move on from that.
Yeah, let's move on.
With 10 men, right? The reason why I think a lot of fans have been very excited by the performance, and you're right, we didn't win the game, is because we showed a load of fight. We dug in. I watched the game back, as I said. The defending was brilliant. How many corners they had, how many crosses they had into the box, and we dealt with literally all of them up until the Azpilicueta goal. The defending was excellent. Granit Xhaka, how good was he stepping into defence? There's an argument to say maybe he should play there. The next game, he looked that good. In defence, he played really, really well. Martinelli, the fight that he showed. Everybody, Saka, everybody, every player was absolutely out on their feet by the end of that game. Would we have done that under Unai Emery?
No, we wouldn't have done it under Arsene Wenger. We went to Chelsea and went down to 10 men under Wenger and we lost 6-0.
So
obviously there's something happening within the team. I don't know. I don't know. There just feels a difference within the club, even in the stands. The one thing that I was actually happy about, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to say it, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, and I don't really care who I upset about it, but it was nice for fans to actually focus on supporting the team for 90 minutes and not worrying about me or AFTV or anyone else on the channel. You know, if I went to a game and I started reacting to some of these chants and what is provocation with pro AFTV songs, should we say? Let's say we retaliate to the get out of our club with pro AFTV songs. 5 minutes to go in the game and I start singing pro AFTV songs. What do you think the backlash will be? Oh, he cares more about his YouTube channel than Arsenal. And so nice to go to a game and for 90 minutes, nobody cared about anything other than what happened on the pitch. That's all they cared about. I had 2 guys standing by me who are very well known to be not like AFTV. Yeah, don't like what goes on, etc., etc., voice their opinions, whatever. When we scored the second goal, we were all celebrating together, hugging each other, grabbing each other, like there was no care in the world. There was no, yeah, but you're DT from AFTV, I can't go near you. Or it was just, we're Arsenal. Let's celebrate. We've just scored a goal. We've snatched a point, and you know what I mean? From 1 minute being down in the dumps thinking we've held on for so long and now we're going to lose the game to we've managed to just do this. No divide, no nothing. Save all that for after the game or before the game or on social media or whatever. For 90 minutes, it was so nice.
But I think that's the Arteta effect.
It is, because
I think Arteta,
the way that it's
you know what I mean? He's come out and he said, he goes, my aim, he goes, I want to unify I want to get the fans back on board. I want to get the fans back on side. Yeah. Right? He's realised that that's been a problem over the years. That, you know, there's been a. Oh, there we
Sorry,
go.
Mikhail just texted me now.
Turn your phones off before the podcast starts. Right? Well, no, he realised that that's a key factor. Got to try and get the fans back on side.
Yeah.
And he's made that a priority. At the end of games, he makes sure the players come over. He comes over.
How many times have we had managers that just disappear down the tunnel?
Well, Arsene Wenger never used to come. Maybe a cup final he come over, but that weren't his style to come over. It was so nice
to just, like I said, it wasn't just that. That for me felt like one of the best away atmospheres in years.
Yeah, the away atmosphere in there was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Everyone kept singing, and yeah, you're gonna get the odd moan and groan and the odds. Oh, Mustafi, you're shit. What'd you do that for?
But even that weren't too much. No, even that weren't too much.
It wasn't, and it was just the initial reaction to it, because you know, you could be watching your mates down the park on a Sunday morning and your mate makes a mistake and you'd be like, oi, you're shit. It's your first reaction. You're upset, you're angry, but there was no, you know, constant about it.
I've been to games right last year and even this year where a mistake like that by Mustafi, after that, our own players were sometimes, when he's getting the ball, booing him. I've heard that. I never heard none of that the other night.
There was nothing.
I never heard none of that the other night.
And I think just after he made that mistake, he put a block in right in front of us where he threw his body on the line to block it.
That's right, yeah.
And the fans were like, all right, come on.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play to you, mate.
Let's, you know, and everybody got behind him.
And I think his attitude, I think Mustafi's attitude, right? And I think this guy deserves to be bigged up, because we're on their case when they, you know what I mean, when they've been poor.
Yeah. So
but what I want to see from my players, right, of the team I support, is that when the chips are down, you don't just capitulate. You say, you know what, I'm going to fight my way through this. And the mental strength that Mustafi showed in that game to recover from that. Remember, your teammate's been sent off as a consequence of what you've done, the mistake you've made. We're down to 10 men. We've had a penalty, a goal given. He could have been in his head thinking, already I know these fans. You know, because it's been well documented that he's even written it and said, already I know that I always get the blame for everything. This time, it is my fault. I know it's my fault. I know that, like, probably 90% of those fans in that away stand right now are cussing me off. This is going to be a nightmare for me. But he didn't. No. He fought back. He was, the amount of blocks he put in, the amount of clearances, he was brilliant in that second half, right? And
he got an assist.
And he got, well, you could, he headed it out for the box.
It's an assist. It's an assist. He was more than Lingard this season.
He was immense in that second half.
He was unbelievable.
And then, as I said, Xhaka is another one I look on and I said, this is an example of a guy. And I love giving credit to people when, you know, because I always look at life, right? And you're going to have times when things are rough. It's how you react. I love what I've seen from Xhaka. A few months ago, we all wanted him gone. We like, after what he did in that game, go, get lost, man. You know what I mean? How can you do that? You know what I mean? All right. I said it at the time. The fans were right. I didn't like that ironic cheers that they did, but his reaction was poor. His reaction following that, I felt, was poor, but not just coming out and apologising that. And I thought, this guy's gone, right? I'm going to credit two people. Let's credit Arteta. He came in and he said, "No, I want you, and you're important to this team."
And me,
right?
Always backing him.
His reaction, has been superb.
Yeah.
And again, the other night now, a player's been sent off. You stand up and say, "Right, Xhaka, you're going to have to play in defence." That's not his position. He didn't moan about it. Not only did he not moan about it, he played brilliantly in there. His concentration levels were good. He was superb there. Again, another guy that over the past, since Arteta's come in, has turned it around. There's no fans having a go at Xhaka now. You speak to most fans, they're like, if they see the team sheet and he's not in there alongside the Torreira, fans are looking at him thinking, "Oh, I don't know, man, Xhaka should be played." Yeah. You wouldn't have heard no one saying that a few.
No. Exactly.
Again, he needs to be commended. He's turned it around.
You can commend Arteta, but most importantly, you commend the man himself.
Yeah.
Because it was very evident that he wanted to go. It was very evident that he was already had one foot out the door and going to Hertha Berlin. His agent said it himself. And I feel that everybody kind of accepted that and said, you know what, it's probably the best move. You've burned your bridges. The incident that happened with the captaincy and all that kind of stuff was the final straw. And even people like myself who have supported him all the way through were saying this is probably the best move for everyone involved, and we can all move and get on. And the one thing I have said to you, though, is that I've always rated him as a player. And
you have always backed him.
I've known that there's something within him, but maybe I felt that the Premier League just wasn't suited to his style of play. But now, since Arteta's come in, there seems to be a new lease of life. He's doing things a lot more differently. One of the things that we hear about Arteta is positioning, and it's something that he works on. It's something they did at Man City, whether it's the wingers, the midfielders. It's about their initial positioning, and it gives them the advantage over the team they're playing against. That half a yard, that split second can be all the difference. One of Xhaka's biggest issues was that he plays at a very slow pace, shall we say. He likes to have time on the ball to pick a pass, and he was always getting caught in possession. Now he seems to look like he's got that time on the ball, and it's because of his positioning. He takes up a different position when he's outside of the box. When the ball gets played out to him from Leno and he's in a dangerous situation, the ball's not coming back to Leno now. He's now got enough time to turn his body and already think ahead. The ball's going out this side or that side. I know what my next move is. And it's all down to positioning. And it's, fair play to him, fair play to Arteta. And like you said, the fact that he's one of the names that you look at on the team sheet, and if he's not there now, you're going, I don't know about Guendouzi next to Torreira. I think Xhaka and Torreira's the best. And it shows. There was a game we missed him with the concussion the other week, and everyone was saying, "Oh, didn't we miss Xhaka today?" Yeah, it shows, and that you've got to give him credit for that.
And another guy who deserves a lot of credit coming out again. We're going to get to the star, but is Bellerin. Now, out with an injury, horrific injury, ACL. You don't even know how you're going to come back. He was getting a little bit of a hard time earlier on in the game.
I felt he was getting skipped past.
It's tough when you just come back and you're up against Willian, then they're switching it. Hudson-Odoi is at you, and Chelsea have got some very quick wide players, very tricky, skillful wide players, and he was having a little bit of a hard time, but he grew into the game, and then to get that goal at the end, I mean, I was so pleased for him, and I think the fans, you could hear them singing his name. They were so pleased for him because they know what he's gone through. He's captain for the night as well. And do you know what? Did you see when he scored? He was like, let's get back to the halfway line. He wasn't even celebrating. He was like, yo.
I have watched that back. I think he was a bit confused what to do.
I don't know if he was confused or if he was saying, let's get back to the halfway line.
And regroup.
And because he's trying to win it.
I think he kind of sort of went to go back and then sort of looked over at everyone celebrating and thought, what do I actually... I ain't scored in that long. Like, what do I actually do now? It's kind of like lost as to where to go or what to do.
Brilliant finish on his left foot.
Brilliant finish, And
reminding people of how skillful a player he is.
Yeah, and look, like you said, he was having a tough time in the opening few minutes, and I was looking at it thinking, it looks like he's lost half a yard. But given the benefit of the doubt that he's been out with that long-term injury, then he's picked up a hamstring injury, and that.
And then you've got to remember as I said, you have to remember who he's up against.
Yeah,
these are like
and they kept switching them.
Yeah,
they
these are top players.
Yeah, so, and you've got to remember, Hudson-Odoi gave Bellerin an absolute roasting in pre-season when we was in Ireland. Yeah,
that time we went to Ireland, yeah.
Do you remember that? So maybe that played in his mind as well, like, oh no, not him again. Like, it took some balls for Arteta to put him in the side, because I don't think anyone called that, that decision being made. It was, Maitland-Niles has been doing really well. And I don't think anyone would have said, let's play Bellerin for this. I think a lot of us were going, Bournemouth, FA Cup, perfect time for Bellerin to come back and get 90 minutes under his belt. Last 10 minutes, I started to really feel that, maybe he should have been substituted as well, because he was really looking tired, and that's understandable. But it was like a second wind, that...
It's important to have him back playing good. You know what I mean? Because he's one of them players that have been there for a long time.
And he fits the style that we want to play. The fullback and the way that they go on. And I also noticed it because I had someone sitting next to me in the first half, and he turned around and asked me why he was saying, like, why is Bellerin tucked inside so much like a midfielder? And I was explaining to him this right-back role that Arteta's obviously learned from Guardiola, and that Bellerin's obviously implementing it and learning it now as well. So it's a new position for him as well, where the right-back tucks in, acts as another shield in front of the back four when we're in possession and attacking and over the other side and whatnot. So, if he can rediscover the pace he had, that's the key for me. I think that fullbacks in the modern game,
up and down,
they have to have that pace. He's obviously got the energy and everything else to get the up and down, but he needs to have that pace so that wingers can't skip past him and get crosses in, and also to go the other way and to be a threat. ACL is a tough injury to come back from. Some people do say that when your ACL goes, that you do lose half a yard, and it's hard to get back because it's that burst. But time will tell. So far, so good. Hopefully now he can get
a run of games,
consistency, no hamstring injuries, muscle injuries, which is very common in players that have long-term. Rob Holding, he done his ACL, and then he ends up being out with muscle injuries and whatnot. And I'll tell you something I watched the on Arsenal's website, they put the bench cam up this week where it follows Arteta for the game, and Holding was actually stripped and next to him, and Arteta was telling him where he was going to put him within 10 minutes of like the sending off. And in the bottom corner, it shows the game unfolding and what was happening and his reactions. And while he was telling him something, a ball come across, and Mustafi made this block, and Xhaka was there clearing up and whatever, and he was there like, yes, like, and then he sort of looked for a minute, and then he just turned around to Holding, and he went like, go back, as if to say, like, you know what, there's only 10 minutes to half time, we look all right at a minute, just give it to half time, go sit back down. And he sat him back down.
And the guy they were thinking of taking off apparently was Martinelli, right? And let's touch on this guy.
You never know what happens, because even the same
but
thing,
again, that's Arteta.
Before we scored,
he's thinking on his feet.
Before we scored, Eddie Nketiah was stripped off and standing next to Arteta ready to come on. Bellerin scored, and then Arteta's gone over to Eddie and gone, sit back down. And then he's called Joe Willock and brought him on. So,
thinking on his feet is brilliant.
It's good.
Martinelli, I mean,
10 goals, 11 starts.
He's been exceptional. We've said it many a times. We watched him in pre-season when we was over in America, and we were like, hey, because when we first bought him, right, I remember at that time when he was sort of like our first signing, wasn't he?
Or one of it.
And everybody was like,
meant to be excited. Excited.
Because he weren't even from like a top team in Brazil.
Nah.
And everybody was like, bloody hell, what?
He was rejected by Man United.
And we're all thinking, nobody was dissing him, but everyone's thinking it's just a kid that's going to go into the under-23s.
And he did.
Where's the exciting signing?
He did, remember. At the beginning of the season, he went into the under-23s.
But I remember watching him in those pre-season games and thinking, hey, this kid's good, man. This guy, he looks a player.
And do you remember?
And when he even went into the under-23s at the start of the season, I remember us saying, boy, they should have him on the bench, man. He looks all right. He's lively. And
do you remember a pre-season game where he done a move very reminiscent to the Chelsea one? and he went clean for a
Yes,
goal.
yeah, and he jumped at the end.
Who was that against?
Oh yeah, you're right. He did. He ran literally the whole length. Yeah, he put it wide. Yeah,
yeah, very reminiscent.
And we were saying, if he'd have scored that could have been that would have been a goal that sort of announces him, sort of thing. But this kid, remember, Aubameyang, the main man, the star player, the guy who gets all our goals, right? He's out. Yeah. He's out.
18 years old.
Lacazette's misfiring in front of goal. I thought he played exceptionally in the game. One thing, just on Lacazette, they always say if you're not scoring goals, put the work in until that, and he does that.
Yeah, he put the work in.
The goals will come. He's putting it in. Martinelli, on an 18-year-old kid's shoulders, they're saying, right, go out there, you're going to have to get the goals that Aubameyang scores. And he's delivered. Sheffield United, who scored? Martinelli. The other night, who opens it up for us? Martinelli. What a run. I mean, I know he was a little bit fortunate because he kind of overhit it and
Kante slipped.
Yeah, but because I'm thinking square it to Pepe.
Yeah, because Pepe was just to the right of him, and it was...
My man's like, square what?
He just went...
Bang!
And
what a goal.
Yeah, and when he went through, I remember because it was just watching it in the away end when he went through, and it was just like this, that sense of where you're just like, and there's like this big sigh waiting, and you're like, but the way he sat Kepa down one side and just, it just looked like
his finishing is exceptional. His finishing, he's also very good in the air. We've seen that this season. He's scored some great headed goals. He can score tap-ins. He can score goals from outside the box. He's quick. He reminds me a lot of Alexis Sanchez.
He's a pest.
Yeah.
He is. He's an annoying pest. He's one of those players that if you're a defender, you don't want to play against him because he does not give you a minute's rest. And Arteta summed it up. He said, with 10 minutes to go, I was going to take him off. And then he's making 60-yard sprints because he looked like he was dead on his feet.
Hector Bellerin said he's a guy that's always the first into training. He's always, doing extra stuff.
Learning,
listening. He's just hungry. You know what I mean? He's hungry. He reminds me of Alexis. His work off the ball, his pressing, the fans love him.
Yeah.
You heard the other night they were singing his song he's
got his own song now.
Got his own song. They absolutely love him. He is going to be a star player, right? As we said, we did that video yesterday, the Transfer Daily one, and we were saying that maybe, they need to get another, because apparently he's on about 10 grand a week.
Yeah, they need to tie him down to a better one than that.
They need to extend that contract already, and they need to. And this is not getting carried away. This is a player. A young player that everybody across Europe must be looking. He's a bit like that because you look at it. Take for example that Haaland, who was at Salzburg banging in the goals. He's a kid, but you can already see watching him. By the way, United, you're lacking goals. Right, I saw that guy. He came on the other day for Dortmund. He scored a hat-trick straight first game.
Scored a hat-trick.
Only other person to do that for Dortmund was
Aubameyang,
yeah, on his debut.
Yeah.
Right, so Haaland on his debut. But you can see certain players and you're like, even though they're young, this guy is going to...
Martinelli,
I'm looking at Martinelli, he's a special talent.
I think he had about 4 trials with Manchester United.
There's pictures with him and Pogba and all stuff like that, isn't it?
And now they're memes, isn't it? Nice of Martinelli to have a photo with a fan. So it's like...
It's still early in his career, but
of course.
He's exciting. I want to see... What happens when Aubameyang comes back? It's exciting.
Well, you can't not bring Aubameyang back in because he's the goal scorer.
Yeah.
You've got to. But the one you're probably going to sacrifice is Lacazette. Are you going to take Martinelli out your team now? And the thing is, listen, Pepe, I've been very impressed with him over recent weeks. He's really starting to
he's a threat.
Get a grip of the Premier League. It looks like
he's dangerous as well.
What's the Chelsea left back?
Azpilicueta.
No, man, he weren't left back. It was what was his name, man? Is it Emerson?
Emerson, yeah.
Pepe was roasting him. There was one move he done where he dropped a shoulder and he was gone.
He's been roasting everyone.
I know, and it's
I mean, Wan-Bissaka, he was giving a hard time as well.
Once he gets the goal scoring on the end of it, and and some of the assists or whatever. And
the good thing about Pepe, though, even without that, he's such a threat that you watch games, they have to send 2-3 players.
There's
to
always
deal with
2 or
him.
3 coming over.
Yeah, you can't leave him one-on-one with a player.
No, because he's gone.
Yeah,
because he looks like one of those players where you think, he's in a blind alley that he can't get out of it, and he'll drop a shoulder, move one way, and then see you. His acceleration from a standing point is frightening.
Yeah,
he's one of those that can literally stop a ball and move like he's on the run. The only other player that I remember being that explosive, Thierry, where you could stop a ball and bang, you're gone. Yeah. You don't need, that run to keep the momentum. You, from a standing start, are explosive, and that's a weapon to have. And like I said, I just feel that he's really been starting to grow in recent weeks.
Some of these young players we've got, Saka.
Again, man, it makes you question why we're looking at a left back.
I heard them talking about us looking at Lervin, Kazawa and things like that. I'm like, we got Tierney, you got Kolasinac, you got Saka. This kid can play left back. Yeah. He looks solid. He's strong as well.
Yeah, and Tierney's only about a month away. Probably less than that. He's already training.
Saka was solid, and his fitness. I mean, he's a kid. He's 18. He should be fit, but his work rate in the game is exceptional.
Yeah, it's still a huge step.
They could teach him that position though, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could do, but the fitness, what you're talking about, is still a massive step from under 23s to Premier League.
Yeah, because it's a different intensity.
Oh, mate, because they would not even be anywhere near the intensity levels that they're playing in a Premier League. London Derby, Stamford Bridge, it's intense from minute one. And you could see by the 90th, Saka was there, like, stretching out his legs, like, God, I've got nothing left in me. But grind your teeth, keep going. And listen, there's players out there that have started in other positions and gone back. And, you mentioned his name earlier, Wan-Bissaka. He's like the perfect, person that we can use as a reference point. He was, 4th or 5th choice winger at Crystal Palace. Went into Roy Hodgson's office, said to him, I want to go out on loan, I want to play football. I'm not going to get my chance here. Then a huge injury crisis at Palace. Hodgson called him in and said, yeah, you're playing this weekend, but you've got to play right back because we ain't got one. And instead of moaning and going, it's like, right, I got a chance of playing Premier League football. I got a chance of being a professional at Crystal Palace, knuckled down, learn a position, played it. Ended up being one of the best right backs, and then got his move to Manchester United.
£50 million moves. That's just
probably would have been better staying at Crystal Palace. But it's definitely a position, and Saka's young enough to learn.
Yeah, I think they could teach him that position. He's looking good.
But the thing is, he has played as a wing back for the under 23s. If anyone watches the under 23s, he has played as a wing back there. So he's got
a brilliant career ahead of him. He really does. And he looks like, and from what I've heard of him, he's just a level-headed kid as well.
He's a normal boy.
So it's exciting. When you see these young players, coming through and playing really well. Torreira's only young. You know what I mean? He's only 22. We forget that. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Torreira like he's some old guy.
Xhaka's not old.
He's 22. Xhaka's 28, 27?
26, 27, something like that. So it's like, it's not, the only old ones now.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
Probably. They're like the experienced heads.
Socrates
and that. And David
but the transfer window is still open. There's a week left.
I don't know why it's even bothering open.
What do we need?
We need loads. I can see it being... When's transfer deadline day? What day is it?
Next week Friday.
Next week Friday. So to everyone else, it's going to be deadline day. To Arsenal fans, it's going to be Friday.
You don't think we'll get anybody?
It doesn't look that way.
There's lots of talk of number one, Ceballos. Looks like he could be gone.
Yeah, that looks like that might well.
There's talk of Valencia.
Would you take Cazorla back?
I would take Cazorla back
if Ceballos goes.
I would take Cazorla,
but a romantic thing, isn't it?
It's a romantic thing, but we got to look ahead. But I would
I know what you're saying.
I'm a bit
take him on loan for the rest of the season.
The Ceballos thing's really surprised me because I thought the Ceballos would be the sort of player that Arteta would think. Yeah, he suits.
Maybe not.
Because again, he's a very hard working, he's skillful.
Maybe not.
He surprised me, and I always look at him and think Ceballos is the type of guy who could score a goal. We don't score enough goals from midfield. So
But you say
I'm
that,
surprised.
but he still only scored one goal for us.
He only
even
scored
before
one
his
goal,
injury.
but then he has a lot. He's been out for a long time.
The only thing that really frustrates me about CheARS is that he seems to turn on the ball about 400 times before he releases it.
Yeah, but then Arteta could probably sort that out. You
I
know what I mean?
Well,
I'm
Arteta,
surprised.
We had this conversation yesterday, and Arteta watches him day in, day out.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that we've
I'm
come to learn.
Well, it's taught that. Could it be that he's thinking to himself, because CheARS probably... It's probably him who's pushing more that he wants to go, because the Euros are coming up. He wants to get into that Spain squad. It's difficult enough to get into that squad. He wants to get into that squad, and he knows that being on the bench and bit part player at Arsenal, he's got no chance of getting in that, right? So he wants to go and play. If he went to Valencia, he could play week in, week out. That will free up money on the wage bill for Arsenal. Maybe there's talk today, maybe they could go for a Thomas Lemar.
That seems
on loan till the end of the season.
That seems to have reared its head again, doesn't
it?
Yeah,
there's talk of him on loan.
24 hours.
You know, but the thing is about it, it's defenders we need. I think we do need a midfielder. I do think we need a midfielder that can score goals. We do not score enough goals from midfield.
I know. It's a shame that we never had one of those, wasn't it?
Well, Ramsey, right? But we need a midfielder that's going to score goals. How many goals have midfielders scored this season?
Not many.
How many has Ozil scored? Has he scored any goals this season? I don't think he scored a goal.
No, I don't think he has.
You know what I mean? No goals.
No.
That's why I'm surprised with the CheARS thing.
Look, like I said, look, you've got to back what
when Duzi's not a goal scorer.
He never has been.
Torreira might bang him one from long range. I think he might have got one this season. Xhaka might bang him one from range, but none of them are like, you know,
a goal scorer.
They're not goal scoring midfielders. So we need one of those players.
They're more defensive minded midfielders. We've got a lot of those. They're not really box to box. I would suppose the box to box is Joe Willock. But he's still a kid and he's still learning. And there's a lot to his game that he's still got to learn, releasing the ball for one. It would...
And we still need a centre-back. We know that.
We need a centre-back.
We need at least one centre-back, right, before this window closes. Linked to that Ukrainian centre-back.
Say his name?
I've forgotten it now. Is it
Matty, wasn't it?
Is it Matvienko or something like that? Matvienko.
I call him Matty.
Let me just double check. Matvienko. Right, but we're linked with him. Now, apparently, he's a player that the story goes that Arteta
wanted him at Man City.
But Shakhtar played him a couple of times and he was really impressed with him. But
I don't know, man. I'm honest. I'm not going to sit here and reel off stats that I know anything about him because I can't even pronounce his bloody name, let alone know anything about him. And, you know, no disrespect, but I don't really tune into Ukrainian football every week.
Yeah.
And see
he's
what's
highly
going
rated.
on.
You know what I mean?
He is highly rated.
He plays for Ukraine. And again, I think also looking at it like, get him on loan.
With the obligation to buy. This seems to be the new thing. It seems to be, even in the summer now, it seems like everybody wants to loan someone. It's as though they're trying to test the water and say, right, let's borrow him for 6 months. If he's any good, we'll buy him. If he's crap, you can have him back. That seems to be the new thing now.
You know what it is, right? You know what it is? It's FFP.
Yeah.
Which is biting a lot of these teams now, and they're realising that they just can't go out and just splash. You know, they've got to be more sensible with the money that they're spending.
And it's spending a lot of money on someone that doesn't do the business. You know, you imagine spending 80, 90 million pounds on a player.
Matvienko, that's it.
Matty.
Matvienko. Actually, I was just looking at a comment, and this was from a fan from over in the Ukraine, right, on one of the transfer dailies that I did. And he said, hello, guys, I know Matvienko really well. He's a good player with potential, but it will not help you now. And he doesn't cost this amount of money. I think he's saying it's too much money, right? So, but we need a centre-back. But is there an obvious centre-back out there that we can bring in now?
There's an obvious centre-back, but whether we could bring him now, no. It would be a summer job.
Upamecano. So do we just roll with what we got until the summer?
I don't think we can, man. There's too much at stake. There's too much. We're on a tightrope of being in a serious crisis of having no defenders. The fact that we've let Mavropanos leave, Callum Chambers is out for the season. We are literally down to the bare bones.
That's why I think we are going to get a centre back. We have to. When we let Mavropanos go out on loan, I'm like, well, it wouldn't make no sense to not bring in, a centre back. So surely,
I don't know. I don't. Like I said, we've got a week till the window shuts. I'm not holding my breath. I'm more looking forward to my birthday next week. That's about it.
Oh, your birthday next week?
Nice. I'll put that in.
Yeah? What day's that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Where the party at?
Where the party at?
Yeah.
Don Robbie's mansion.
Yeah? Where's the party at, man?
At Don Robbie's mansion.
You got to keep something.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to perform. You know
Perform
what? You're gonna have to come back on stage as Crucial Robbie. That's my birthday wish.
So make sure when you come in here next week, cakes all around and stuff like that, yeah?
Hold on a minute. You know what? I've never got this, right? I've never understood this. And I think it was Flex who actually brought this up a while ago. It's like, do you remember when you was in school and it was your birthday? You had to bring the sweets in to hand out to the other children. Yeah. It's like, well, hold on a minute. It's my birthday. Why am I bringing sweets in for everyone?
Tight bastard, you know what I mean? Why can't you bring this stuff for everyone?
Why should I? It's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
So you buy me a cake.
You want to celebrate your birthday with people.
You buy me a cake.
Especially somebody like you who lacks friends.
You dickhead. You buy me a cake.
Somebody like you ain't got a lot of mates, you know what I mean? You bring in a load of cakes and stuff like that, you know what I mean? That might encourage a few people to...
You should buy me a cake. You should have a nice cake for me. You should have a nice gift, maybe a Rolex or something. Do you know what I mean? It's man.
Happy birthday in advance. But FA Cup before that, FA Cup against Bournemouth.
Monday night.
That can make your birthday nice. How serious?
Can make it shit.
How seriously should we take the FA Cup this year?
Seriously, I think because do you know what it is? Winning breeds confidence, and I feel that the Leeds game. Despite some of the results not being what we wanted and getting 3 points at Palace and things like that, that victory put us in good stead.
Would you go with the strongest possible team against Bournemouth?
I would. Because the way I'd look at it...
Because we don't have another game until...
No, we've got Burnley.
Burnley, yeah. So, but that's
the
not
weekend.
That's the Sunday.
Yeah, so you've got 6 days rest and then you've got 2 weeks off.
And then 2 weeks off.
And we're not talking an international break or anything like that. Our players will be wherever... Well... We don't know whether they're going. We don't know whether they're going to Dubai or whatever. But it's not like an international break where players are disappearing all around the world. Or whatever.
They're going to get a chance to spend some time with their families. And they're also going to get a chance to go and do some warm weather training and stuff like that. So that's. So I want to see. I want to see us go for it on Monday.
Yeah, well, we're not going to have Louise. We're not going to have.
We're not going to have Aubameyang.
So they're two.
Socrates should be back.
Socrates should be back. I'm hearing Kolasinac maybe.
Yep.
Which might be something. But
apart from that, I'll be going strong.
You're going to have to go with Mustafi and Socrates because we ain't got no other centre-backs.
Yeah, unless Mustafi... Mustafi
and then I think Maitland-Niles might go back into right-back. Yeah. Martinelli in goal.
Go strong. Go strong. I think that's a competition now we've got to look to try and win this year.
Yeah, I think maybe Joe Willock. I think Torreira might get a break because he was touch and go with an injury before the Chelsea game and the Sheffield United one. So maybe give him a break. And Reece Nelson's still out. So I would probably take... I don't know actually because
Bournemouth is going to be interesting to see what they do because remember they're in a real relegation dogfight. They had a nice victory the other day. They won 3-0.
Yeah,
3-1 wasn't it that game? But they've got bigger fish to fry. Are they going to bigger fish to fry?
Yeah, bigger fish to fry.
Are they gonna? I don't think they'll go for it. And they've had a lot of injury problems.
I'm just trying to think as well because
I think we should go for it, man.
We can't play John Jules because he's gone out on loan. No. Emil Smith-Rowe's gone out on loan.
No, Eddie could play in that game.
Eddie could start. That's a good shout. Eddie could start that game. That'd be a good opportunity.
But I want us to go strong. I want us to go literally with the team that we saw the other night.
Maybe Ceballos might get a game
if he's still here.
If he's still,
I think if they don't play Ceballos, that means he's going.
Yeah.
Because they're protecting him.
Who would you have out on the wing? I'm trying to think who we'd have out on the wing.
Well, if Kolasinac comes back in, you could put Saka out there.
I think maybe he might get rest. Would we play Pepe? Or they
Game's not till Monday. Game's on Monday. Go strong.
Because I'm thinking we haven't really got any wingers, have we? We haven't really got any wingers. Smith-Rowe's out.
You could play Saka, as I said, Saka. I'll put play Saka out of there. If Kolasinac is back, you could play Saka there, and I think Pepe will play in a game like that. You can play Martinelli. You could even switch Martinelli out wide and play Eddie through the middle, right? If you want to give Lacazette a rest. But I am hoping that we're going with our strongest possible team because the next game is not until Sunday. Get a lot of rest. You know, these guys are used to playing games every few days as well with the Europa League and stuff like that. Let's have a go. Let's go for it. It's competition we can win.
And it'll be a tough game on Sunday as well against Burnley.
Yeah. You know, the following year, because Burnley as well are on a bit of form. Yeah. We saw what they did to Man United.
I know.
They beat Leicester as well at home. And that's going to be a very tough game. Yeah, very tough game. A couple of weeks ago, that was looking like an easy game.
But now
it's looking tough, and we know what Burnley are like.
Well, you say that, but did you see Burnley's second goal against Man United?
What a goal that was.
Jesus, man, that was like Barcelona-esque. That was all one-touch passing.
Ollie's at the wheel.
Yeah, Ollie's at the wheel. I think Solskjaer, I think he turned around afterwards and said, "Did you say the way that Burnley played football? That shows how far we've come. That they have to come to Old Trafford and play one-touch football." Oh boy. So it's listen. At the end of the day,
I was arguing with a United fan the other day, and he was saying, "Yeah, but."
I know we've got problems, but
it's like you guys is a similar sort of manager, and you're saying you should get time. So, but I said, no, hold on, wait. Ollie's had time, and I said, Ollie's a different case to Arteta. Arteta, we've gone out and brought him in as the manager from the start. Ollie was a temporary manager. He didn't come with any sort of pedigree at all. He been at Cardiff, sent them down. He'd been managing in Norway.
Molde or something.
And I said, right. And then he come to United and he done brilliantly in that little spell.
Ollie's at the wheel.
And you gave him the job, right? But really and truly, you wouldn't have picked him to have done that if you hadn't brought him in as an emergency sort of. He was only supposed to come in as a stopgap. Whereas Arteta, we put a bit of thought into it and said, nah, this is a guy.
And Man United,
we've done our due diligence.
He's got a worse start than David Moyes to the season.
Yeah. I see where he's lost more games than he's won, that's awful. But anyway, long may that continue at Man United. We can't worry about them. We got to worry about ourselves. Let's hope we can get a win in the FA Cup. I'd love a great FA Cup run. I think that'd be with the season that we've been having. I think a good FA Cup run.
I wouldn't mind going back to Wembley in May.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic for Arsenal. And so let's see if we can do that. I think there's been a bit of a turning point. I'd love you guys to let us know in the comments, but it's tough games ahead. That Burnley game is going to be another test. Arteta's just come in and he's just had tough game after tough game. He hasn't really had any easy.
And we would know, you know what as well, I just remembered, we would know who we could potentially get before we actually kick off against Bournemouth. Because the draw...
They do the draw beforehand,
The draw is beforehand. So maybe if we get drawn away to Man City, it's best we lose. No, I'm not being genuine when I say that before anyone cuts that segment. But no, it's like... Yeah, we'll... You know, maybe a nice FA Cup final, Arsenal versus Man City.
Yeah, I'd love a cup run this year.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Listen, thanks for watching the podcast and listening to the podcast today. Don't forget you can download it on all the usual formats. The links are in the description right now. We will be back next week with another podcast. DT's going to be bringing in the champagne. He's going to be bringing in the cakes. We're going to be celebrating his birthday.
Yeah, I've got loads of champagne, actually. I've still got loads of bottles from beating you in the final.
Yeah, so you can bring those in, right? So, right, we'll be celebrating his birthday next week, right? So if you've got any birthday messages for him, let him know in the comments.
Oh, my life.